I truly believe that the day will come when all people will live together in harmony.
Naruto, I believe in you completely.
Hey everybody, BM Collectibles here, back for another statue unboxing review for you today. We have 3 legends in one statue featuring Jiraiya, Naruto, and Minato. This statue has been on my pre-order list for a while now, and we'll see on the very bottom it's made by Cartoon World Studio, one of the oldest unlicensed studios in the game. On the very front, we'll see the Konoha Village symbol there. And scattered all throughout is this mossy type of texturing that they added on after the fact. Now it looks really nice, gives another layer of depth to the statue, but it's a pain because it likes to come off and get all around my table here. But it's easy to clean off, you just wipe it away. We'll see all sorts of notches. We have these dust clouds that are sculpted on. There's multiple other ones that were sculpted off, but we'll get over those soon. We can see the tetragram, I think sealed on there, center there, that we've known Jiraiya to use as well as Minato. So really cool to have that in the center there. But already you can see that pesky moss everywhere. I'm going to be wiping it off all throughout the showcase today. As I mentioned before, multiple different dust or cloud particles were sculpted separately, probably because they have a lot of pointy bits on them, so shipping those attached to the statue would likely cause them to break. That's the smaller of the two. Here is the larger version of that. Pretty complicated design overall, and you can see this one's a little bit darker than the other one. The third one goes back in the left, and the fourth one, I did want to talk about one small thing. This one does have a notch that's sculpted into it for Minato's leg to key into later, so it serves as an effect piece for the statue and also a way to balance him as he's more aerial than the other characters. Speaking of the yellow flash, here he is. The arms and head were sculpted separately. If we go down to the feet, we'll notice the notch and the steel rod there. The wrappings on his legs are quite dirty, so I guess he's seen some battle. And look at the pants. Like, the shading on this bad boy is crazy. Actually, all throughout the statue, each character has some amazing shading on it. And I don't like to talk about it too much, but look at this. Look how legendary this jacket looks. You can feel those waves in the coat, right? Like it's blowing in the wind, and they did a great job also at having all the correct markings with kind of the fiery look to his cloak. I always get confused what to call it, right? Is it a jacket, a cloak, a robe? All I know is it's one of the coolest outfits in this series. That's another reason why I love Sage Mode Naruto, because it's really similar in its design. But there he is. We'll key him right into the base, and it's a little bit tricky to get him in there the way the foot is angled. But with that in there, we'll go over the 2 different hands or arms that they sculpted. As expected, we'll see his special flying thunder god kunai up at the top there. What's really cool is it's sculpted in and it's not stiff. You can move it around if you need to, and if you spin it, you actually see the markings that he uses to teleport different places. So really cool that they added that detail in there. And the other hand, I've never seen anything like this before, so it makes it look like he's actually throwing the kunai. In order to achieve that, they use some clear resin effect that's going off of his hands. Realistically, it wouldn't look like that, but you know, hey, this is how they're making it look like he's throwing it. I love it. Nobody's ever done it before, so it looks awesome. If there's one thing that Cartoon World has mastered throughout the years, it is a character's portrait or head sculpt. From the moment we first saw him in the series, he had this cool factor to him. You wanted to know more. He was such a mystery that surrounded him. And I gotta say, if there's ever a character in the series that we didn't get enough of, it's him. I truly hope someday, you know, while Boruto's definitely getting to be more enjoyable these days, I would love it if we did like a backstory for a lot of these characters and kind of went backwards in the series and got to experience different people more. By the way, who is excited for the Baryon Mode Boruto episode revealing this weekend? Let me get some hype in the chat. In the background, we can see none other than Pervy Sage. It's crazy how they sculpted the notch right on his sandal there. By the way, I would love to get me some of them wooden clogs, I believe is what they're called. In my lifetime, that's on my bucket list. I'd love to get a pair of those, wear them just once. Just like Minato, we can see that legendary shading going throughout the outfit here. And if you can't tell with his positioning, he's in that classic Jiraiya pose with both hands extended in opposite directions. Normally, we jump into the hands, but those have to be installed last because of his giant mane. I know his hair is pretty long in the series, but this is huge, right? So all the different spikes and pointy parts, I can't believe there was no type of breaks when it arrived. Amazing packaging by them. We'll see this little notch on the side with the seam line where his neck joint is. That's going to help to support it. And then his face, when this went up for pre-order, it was a little sketchy. Weren't sure how it would turn out, but I think it turned out fantastic to his likeness. What is it with the Sanin, right? He liked to grow his hair all the time. Tsunade liked to grow other things. And Orochimaru, God knows what he was growing. On the back notch, we'll see a magnet was impacted, pretty strong to support these heavier hands. Not really much to go over here, right? As I mentioned before, these are the classic pose that we see him use, so I'm glad they did for this statue. I will mention, of the three, he has a little bit of a shake and wobble to him, but that's probably because he's only keyed into one spot. His other foot is standing on a cloud, which does help. Next up is Naruto, but before we get into there, they sculpted a scroll that sits behind him. Here's the notch where it keys into the back of the statue, and they went over the top with the details on this thing. So we can see some of the tears of the actual cloth, and the leather looks like real leather. Even the buckle itself has a metallic shine to it. But what's crazy is this does seem a bit obsessive if they're going for the Sage Mode scroll. It's a lot larger than I'd expect. It almost looks life-size, right? If I'm holding it in my hands right here, it feels like what a scroll would feel like in the series. And just like the others, he was sculpted without arms and a head. Those will come later. I'm always thankful when they do that. It actually allows for a cleaner paint job when they sculpt that stuff separately as well. But we'll see the notches where he attaches to the base. And man, I can never get enough of Sage Mode Naruto statues. This is my favorite mode in the show and the series. It's one of my favorite arcs. And so it's always great to get to see him. I love how they did the strap here as well. It does attach via just the back, and it kind of floats there throughout the rest of the outfit. It has a little bit of flexibility to it, so it's not going to break all too easy, but there's that. So we'll get him attached to that base. I don't know how many saw it, but another life-size Sage Mode Naruto statue went up for pre-order. I can't believe, of all the different characters to make, they decided to make another Sage Mode Naruto. Still exciting nonetheless. This hand over here is a little bit boring, not too much going on here. We can see his arms just resting there, so that's going to attach to the back and just go on the scroll. I have to kind of fix it to where it does rest on the middle section of that. For the other hand, they did decide to have him sculpted to where he's holding a Rasengan. We have the notch there with a magnet that's going to help him hold that. Now here is the actual Rasengan. Amazing looking, right? This definitely pushed engineering a little bit more than other studios do for how these look. Sometimes it's just a plain orb or a little circular rotation around, but man, this actually looks like it's flowing, live, active, and I love the vibrant colors that they did for it. So while this is awesome, it's even more awesome how it attaches onto the hand and how secure it is. So once it's on, I could shake it, move it, hold it upside down, just like a Dairy Queen Blizzard, and it goes nowhere. As we've come to expect, the head sculpt for him was also done flawlessly. I love the emotion going on in his face, but crazy how they sculpted the back of his headband. That's a little bit long, kind of like Jiraiya's hair, right? Everything's a little bit more exaggerated than I'd expect it to be, but still nonetheless impressive that they sculpted it that long. I don't think it's made of resin. It's not made of plastic either. Something that has a little bit of flexibility to it, but great facial expression. All the details, the wrinkles they captured in there, right above the eyebrow section where it looks like he's more intense and angry. Fantastic job. Cartoon World never disappoints. With that installed, we'll take a look at a few different angles, and I'll tell you, my wife actually dubbed this her favorite statue. She's seen a lot of statues in her time, and for some reason, this one hit home the most for her. Now, here is that mossy mess that happened all throughout the statue showcase. I just want to show you, this one gets messy if you own it. There you have it. If anything was worth the wait, it was definitely this statue and everything that they were able to capture with this, right? Having 3 different legends, and they also, I'll showcase here, right? They included some flag that goes in the background. God knows why, but if somebody could please let me know what this actually says on here, I'd appreciate it. I don't know why they sculpted this on here. I guess it was a part of the concept art for some reason. Maybe I have seen some art with it on there, but that flag really has no association to the show, and it also adds, if you look at it, about 3 inches of height onto the statue. Now, I don't like adding extra height for no reason in a statue. It's just not necessary, so I'm probably going to remove it. Also included by the studio is this printed piece of canvas. When you pre-order the statue, this was the background that they used to tease it. So it's kind of neat that they include this. If you're into having a background for your statue, that's something you can use. I will show you what that does look like if you put it behind there. I don't think I'm going to use it for myself. I do like a plain black background when I am showcasing my statues. And here is the last thing, which is the edition size little plaque that they included. You can briefly see it on the bottom. It's kind of hard to see what the edition size number was, but there is that. I'm not a fan of these as well. I probably will put that back in the box too. There's so many different angles to appreciate with this statue. They did a fantastic job for every single person, right? The head sculpts, the position, the poses, how they feel true to their character, and mashing up 3 legendary characters into one statue. Well, hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed today's showcase on the channel. I appreciate all the support that everyone shows to me. If you haven't subscribed to the channel and you enjoy these unboxings, don't wait for it. Click that button and the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. And as always, everybody, I'll see you in the next one. Do what you love and love what you do. Bam out.